So hey guys, I am here at Bogus Ford and they have this F-250 ruby red, just like my 450, with some pretty severe damage here. Now this truck apparently impacted something from the side that slid all the way down, caught the area right here, did the most damage. You can see where it's damaged here, and then pulled this whole fender piece back. One of the things I wanted to look at though was just how thick and rigid these panels are. So what I can tell you is that these panels are very thick compared to sheet metal. So typically a sheet metal panel you can take and you can bend back and forth. The aluminum panel itself is very, very rigid, but it will tear simply because it's aluminum and because, you know, as far as the tensile strength and its ability to bend is a little bit less. Instead of bending and creasing, it's going to tear in some areas. But you can see in this spot right here where it did bend in. You can see all the little bends right here and where it kind of crumpled versus some of the areas where it was a really tight bend and it caused it to crack or tear. But I wasn't expecting this. What I was expecting to see was the panel really easily, you know, rip from this area. This part is very, very stiff, and I'm not even playing around. I was speaking to one of the service advisors here, and he was telling me that the panels themselves are actually stronger, they just tear easier. And if you look at just pure dent resistance or strength, if you're going to impact this from the side, it's actually physically harder to dent the panel, even though it would be easier to take the panel and rip it. The good thing is I guess when it comes to door dings or if it comes to something impacting the side of the truck straight on, it'll be able to take it better. If it comes to something dragging down the side, it will cause the panels to crumple, but at the same time in some areas it can cause it to tear. Overall though, I'm pretty impressed. Any type of damage like this to any vehicle, and the service writer who's behind me, he could probably even attest to it, you're gonna have to replace the panels, period. You can't work this out. Whether it's aluminum or steel, it's going to crumple and it's going to need to be replaced. And they're going to repair this truck. So this truck's actually going to be completely repaired. But in the case of the bed right here, they're probably going to have to either put a new bed on it or replace this entire sidewall, just as they would have to do if it were steel as well. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah.
So guys, one thing to note with this truck is that it suffered a severe impact from the side, so much so that the entire axle on this side was shifted back to where it made contact back here with the muffler, and they had to shift it around to put it back into place. What the damage you see here wasn't from a minor accident. It wasn't from hitting something soft. Something went all the way down the side and caught in this area, shifting this whole piece back, knocking the tire and wheel with enough force to shift the entire axle assembly all the way back to the exhaust, which I'm assuming probably broke some of the hangers and damaged some of the suspension components as well. Man, that was a pretty bad wreck. Now, a question I have. So if this was, let's say, a 2016 truck that was steel, would the cost be similar in repairing a truck that's aluminum versus steel? Or, you know, a lot of the rumors originally were that aluminum is so much more expensive to repair because of the amount of time it takes to work on it versus steel. Or because of this type of damage and a lot of the parts having to be replaced, is the cost roughly the same? What's your take on that?
Well, it's a different procedure to repair. You need different tools. So yeah, it is more expensive for shops to repair aluminum, but you need specific tools. You can't use aluminum tools on steel or steel on aluminum because it'll make it corrode. As far as part prices and stuff, you know, you do find a lot of pieces that you expect to be expensive on these trucks that aren't. I mean, for example, you have this panel that's missing here. You know, on steel, it would usually be like around 50, 60 bucks. Here's like $13 to replace this piece that goes here.
Oh, wow.
So it's some parts are very expensive, some parts aren't. Yeah, right now, this is about a $23,000 repair as it sits right now.
And it honestly looks like a $23,000 repair. If I had the same damage done to the 2016 F450 I had, shifting the axle back, breaking suspension components, I mean, this entire, what pillar would this be called right here? Is this like the C-pillar? So the C-pillar being crumpled in like that, you can't fix that on steel. You have to replace that. That's going to be cut, welded, and reinstalled. The whole bed's going to have to be replaced just like it would be on a steel truck. I don't think 20 grand to repair something like this is really off on any type of truck.
No, it's not that off. It's about the same. If it was a steel truck, it would be roughly the same.
I know a lot of people wouldn't expect me to actually show a Ford, especially in ruby red. This kind of breaks my heart. But Just the fact that, you know, I wanted to show you what this looks like. The fact that it is much sturdier than I thought, even though admittedly it is easier to tear. I honestly feel that it could sustain an impact direct on much better than steel. Would you say that as well?
Yes.
So a direct impact to it from the side, it's going to fare better. But of course, any type of dragging down the side and then catching at the C-pillar and pulling everything back, ripping the panel off, knocking the wheel into the back is going to cause significant damage. But again, guys, this is, I guess it could have been a lot worse. That is crazy, man. And this piece right here, in this section, is noticeably thinner than this piece right here. Look at the thickness. Significantly thinner. I would probably say half the thickness. So when they said that the Ford bed on the Super Duty was a thicker material than the cab, they meant it. This piece right here in that area, which they double and triple up, is a thinner material. But then you look at this section right here, and that's significantly thicker. I don't think, if you tried to peel from there, would it be more difficult? It seems like it would be. Yeah, that panel's gonna mess with you. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, that's a much, much thicker panel. I'll take that piece if you can get it off too. Awesome, brother. These are souvenirs. These will make me cry. These will remind me not to hit anything with the side of my truck. Might as well screw it up some more. Want to bang on this thing? Wow, and that's a pair of pliers. Let's hit that thing even harder, right in the same area. Wow, that is crazy, man. Let's look at it from the side here. That is really, really a strong panel. So the body shop here works on both steel and aluminum vehicles, and what he tells me is the big difference between how steel reacts after an accident versus aluminum is steel is going to crumple up, and because it crumples up, you're not going to get an edge like this to pull on. If you had an edge like that to pull on, it would tear just as easy as aluminum does. The problem is you don't get an edge like that. So instead of it giving you little edges like this, it's just going to crumple up into a ball, and of course you'll have to just cut the whole thing out or remove the entire panel versus having the ability to tear the panel off. I really appreciate your time, man. Thank you. Anyways, guys, I appreciate it. If you haven't had a chance, please subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up. I'll talk to you again soon.